Hello everyone, let us discuss about anti-cancer drugs. In the current session, we will be discussing the introduction, characteristics of cancer, pathogenesis of cancer, and general principles of chemotherapy. So first of all, coming to cancer, what is cancer? Cancer is a disease characterized by uncontrolled multiplication and spread of abnormal forms of the body's own cells. Uncontrolled multiplication and spreading of abnormal cells. The term cancer and malignant neoplasm. Neo is new growth, neoplasm is new growth, and malignant tumor are often very synonymous. Coming to characteristics of tumor. A tumor can be of two types. It can be benign or malignant. The benign tumor, it is only characterized by uncontrolled proliferation. That is uncontrolled multiplication. Whereas malignant tumor, it has uncontrolled proliferation, dedifferentiation, invasiveness, and metastasis. These four are the important characteristics of cancer. Whenever the tumor is malignant, it has uncontrolled proliferation, dedifferentiation, invasiveness, and metastasis. Now, what is uncontrolled proliferation? Many healthy cells of the bone marrow and gastrointestinal epithelium, they undergo uncontrolled or controlled rapid division. And it is not generally true that cancer cells proliferate more rapidly than the normal cells. For example, in case of plasma cell tumors, the cells multiply more slowly, whereas in case of Burkitt's lymphoma, cancer cells multiply rapidly. So it is not generally true that cancer cells proliferate more rapidly than the normal cells. And the cancer cells have escaped from the mechanisms that normally regulate cell division and tissue growth. Whenever there is controlled growth, usually our body regulates the cell division and tissue growth. And the cancer cells, they have a tendency to escape from the mechanisms that normally regulate the cell division and tissue growth. And this is the reason that differentiates the cancer cells from the normal cells rather than their rate of proliferation. And uncontrolled proliferation results from various changes in several cellular systems such as growth factors, their receptors and signaling pathways, cell cycle transducers like cyclins, cyclin-dependent kinases CDKs, and CDK inhibitors. Uncontrolled proliferation can result from various factors and various changes in several cellular systems. The apoptotic machinery that normally discloses the abnormal cells and the telomerase expression, local blood vessel resulting from tumor directed angiogenesis. So these are some of the factors that results in abnormal proliferation. And one more important point is telomerase. All the rapidly dividing cells, they express an enzyme called telomerase. And telomerase maintains and stabilizes the telomeres. Telomerase enzyme is absent in fully differentiated somatic cells. This is an important point. All the rapidly dividing cells, they express an enzyme called telomerase, and telomerase maintains and stabilizes the telomeres. And this telomerase enzyme is absent in fully differentiated somatic cells. And 95% of the late stage malignant tumors, they express this enzyme. And this is the major reason that imparts the immortality to cancer cells. Telomerase is the major reason that imparts the immortality to the cancer cells. Now coming to tumor-related angiogenesis. The blood supply is one of the major reasons that determines the actual growth of a tumor. Tumors which are 1 to 2 mm in diameter can obtain nutrients by diffusion. but any further expansion leads to angiogenesis. That is nothing but formation of new blood vessels. And angiogenesis occurs in response to growth factors produced by the growing tumor. Coming to dedifferentiation and loss of function. One of the main characteristics of cancer cells is that they dedifferentiate to varying degrees. So what is dedifferentiation? Dedifferentiation is reversion of specialized structures such as cells to more generalized or primitive condition, often as a preliminary to major physiological or structural change. Specialized structures are transformed into more primitive or generalized condition. And this dedifferentiation eventually leads to loss of function of that particular cells. So angiogenesis and dedifferentiation and loss of function are the characteristics of the cancer cells. The next one is invasiveness. Invasiveness is one of the distinctive characteristics of cancer. The cancer cells secrete enzymes, for example metalloproteinases, that have the ability to break down the extracellular matrix. And this enables cancer cells to move around and be invasive. The next characteristic feature is metastasis. Metastases are the secondary tumors formed by cells that have released from the initial or primary tumor. This is an important point. Metastases are the secondary tumors that are formed by the cells that have been released from the initial or primary tumor. And they are the principal cause of mortality and morbidity in most of the cancer cells. They reach other sites through blood vessels, lymphatics, by transportation on other cells, and as a result of being shed into body cavities. So what all favors metastasis? Tumor-induced growth of new blood vessels, that is angiogenesis, locally favors metastasis, and the secondary tumors occur more frequently in some tissues than the other. For example, the metastasis of mammary cancers are often found in lung, bone and brain because breast cancer cells express chemokinase receptors such as CXR4 on their surfaces, and the chemokines that recognize these receptors are expressed in higher levels in these tissues than others, for example kidneys, because breast cancer cells, they express CXRX receptors on their surfaces, and the chemokines that recognize these receptors are expressed in higher levels in the bone, lung and brain. That is the reason breast cancer may often lead to metastasis of lung cancer, bone cancer and even brain. Coming to the genesis of cancer cells. A normal cell turns into a cancer cell because of one or more mutation in its DNA. How does a normal cell transform into a cancer cell? It occurs due to the mutation in its DNA. And cancer can be of two types based on genes. It can be inherited or acquired. So examples of inherited cancers are women who inherit a single defective copy of either of the tumor suppressor genes. Who inherit a defective copy of tumor suppressor gene. This is a tumor suppressor gene. BRCA1 and BRCA2, they have higher risk for breast cancer. This is an important point. BRCA1 and BRCA2 are the tumor suppressor genes for breast cancer. And the women who inherit a defective copy of these genes, they have a higher risk for breast cancer. Acquired cancer is exposure to virus and carcinogens, that such as tobacco products, asbestos, etc. And carcinogenesis is a complex multi-stage process usually involving more than one genetic change as well as other epigenetic factors such as hormonal, co-carcinogenic tumor promoter effects, which increase the likelihood of genetic mutation, eventually leading to cancer. Coming to gene mutations. The two main reasons which cause gene mutations in cancer cells are: the first one is activation of proto-oncogenes to oncogenes. The second one is inactivation of tumor suppressor genes. So what are the two reasons which cause gene mutations in cancer cells? The first one is activation of proto-oncogenes to oncogenes, and the second one is inactivation of tumor suppressor genes. Now let us discuss about two types. The first one is activation of proto-oncogenes to oncogenes, and the second one is inactivation of tumor suppressor genes. Proto-oncogenes are the oncogenes that normally control cell division, apoptosis, and differentiation. And when they are converted to oncogenes, they induce malignant change by viral or carcinogenic action. And as of now, about 100 oncogenes have been identified. The examples of oncogenes are EGF, epidermal growth factor, CERB, capital B. When this proto-oncogene is converted to oncogene, this results in breast cancer. The second mechanism is inactivation of tumor suppressor genes. Normal cells contain tumor suppressor genes. They are called as anti-oncogenes, and they have the ability to suppress the malignant change, and their inactivation can lead to or induce a malignant change. The example is, as we have discussed earlier, as of now 30 tumor suppressor genes have been identified. The major example is BRCA1 and BRCA2. These are the tumor suppressor genes for breast cancer, and inactivation of these genes, these tumor suppressor genes, can often result in breast cancer. Coming to the treatment of cancer. Cancer can be treated by surgical excision, radiation, drug therapy, which is nothing but chemotherapy, immunotherapy, hormone therapy, and gene therapy. So we will be majorly focusing on chemotherapy. Chemotherapy may be used on its own or as an adjuvant to other forms of therapy. Based on an experimental study in mice, it has been found that a given therapeutic dose of cytotoxic drug destroys a constant fraction of malignant cells. A given therapeutic dose of cytotoxic drugs destroys a constant fraction of malignant cells. And from the above point, it can be inferred that a fraction of viable malignant cells will be present even after the therapeutic dose. This is an important point. Even after starting cytotoxic drug treatment, a viable fraction of malignant cells will be present even after the therapeutic dose. Hence, chemotherapy alone cannot cure cancer. Tumor growth is usually far advanced before cancer is diagnosed, and 30 doublings are necessary to produce a mass of 2 centimeters. And here are some of the examples of cancer and their doubling time. The Burkitt's lymphoma has a doubling time of 24 hours for one doubling time. And some leukemias, they have 2 weeks, and mammary cancers can have 3 months. However, in case of most of the solid tumors, such as tumors of lung, stomach, uterus, and so on, their growth rate falls as the neoplasm grows. And this results mainly because of two reasons. Tumor outgrows its blood supply, and not all cells proliferate continuously. After a certain time, the growth rate falls as the neoplasm grows. This occurs due to two factors. Tumor outgrows its blood supply because blood supply is necessary for the survival of the tumor, and that is why angiogenesis occurs. And not all cells proliferate continuously. So cells of a solid tumor can be considered belonging to 3 compartments. This is also an important point. The cells of a solid tumor can be considered as belonging to 3 compartments: compartment A, compartment B, and compartment C. Let us discuss the characteristics of cells which come under compartment A, compartment B, and compartment C. In case of compartment A, it consists of dividing cells continuously present in the cell cycle. They are the main target for various cytotoxic drugs, and they form as little as 5% of the solid tumors. Majority of the cytotoxic drugs, they target cells which are present in compartment A. But unfortunately, the cells which come under compartment A, they form as little as 5% of the solid tumor. And let us discuss about cells which come under compartment B. It consists of resting cells which are in the G0 phase. They have the potential to be converted as dividing cells, and they are the major threat for chemotherapy. Usually they are resting cells, and majority of the cytotoxic drugs, they cannot target these cells, and these cells, they have the potential to getting converted as dividing cells. This majorly leads to recurrence of cancer. The next one is cells which come under compartment C. This consists of cells that are unable to divide further, and they do not possess any threat, and they majorly contribute to the volume of the tumor. So, the major threat are the cells which come under compartment P, which cannot be killed by cytotoxic drugs, and they have a potential to get converted as dividing cells. Coming to the general toxic effects of chemotherapy. As the cell division is the main target for most of the anti-cancer drugs, they will affect all rapidly dividing normal tissues. The cytotoxic drugs, they affect all rapidly dividing normal tissues. As a result, certain general toxic effects are common for these agents, such as bone marrow toxicity, which is nothing but myelosuppression. With decreased leukocyte production, this decreases the resistance for infection. So, patients who undergo chemotherapy due to bone marrow suppression or bone marrow toxicity, they are more prone for infections. Impaired wound healing, loss of hair, alopecia, and damage to gastrointestinal epithelium, including the oral mucous membrane, depression of growth in children, sterility, and teratogenicity are some of the general toxic effects of chemotherapy. They can also, in certain circumstances, be themselves carcinogenic. Example is prolonged use of alkylating agents increases the risk of acute non-lymphocytic leukemia. And virtually all cytotoxic drugs produce severe nausea and vomiting. Nausea and vomiting, myelosuppression, hair loss are the three common causes of chemotherapy. And rapid cell destruction also entails extensive purine catabolism. As a result, urates may precipitate in the renal tubules and cause kidney damage. The example of drug which causes kidney damage is, which is nephrotoxic, is cisplatin.